Brian Von VA here. I have a very, very simple question. What are your coolest character concepts? The characters that are so cool that they put Fonzie to shame. One concept that's currently rattling around in my brain is the cleric who should have just gone to bard school instead. He gambles like a degenerate, drinks like a sailor, and will aggressively flirt with anyone he finds even mildly attractive. On the day of his ordination as a priest, he was almost late because he'd been all over town looking for discreet help with a venereal disease he caught some days earlier. The only time this character will actually act like a priest is when his money runs out, and he needs to con some people out of their hard-earned cash so he can keep gambling, drinking, and of course, whoring. But the best part about this character is his backstory. Daddy was an angel, so his race is actually Aasimar. But for some reason, Angel Daddy went to the store to get some cigarettes and never came back. Oh, so this character did the seemingly most sensible thing and went to become a cleric. Surely then Daddy will finally speak to him. Well, the answer is no, he won't. So, in the end, he decided that all the gods must be selfish and mean, so what's the point in being nice and pious? Definitely not a heroic character, but he's got a solid redemption arc built into his backstory. So, I'll crack him out when I find a DM who's into that kind of stuff. Less cool and more funny, but a warforged rune knight with hilariously low intelligence. I love this idiot. Backstory is that he's the latest failed attempt by an evil king to put his consciousness in to live forever. The bot was just shoved in the corner of his creator's stronghold until he was suddenly turned on again in the middle of a battle within the king's castle. He woke up to see his creator in front of him, frantically shouting at him, "Help everyone!" before catching a fireball to the face. The guy was going to say, "Help everyone escape," or something along those lines, but all the bot heard was, "Help everyone!" So that's what he does. Helps everyone. And I mean everyone. Somebody says the word help, and this bot runs over to do just that, regardless of the context or if he and the party is already busy. Hunting down a bounty in a small town? Nope, he's helping the kids get their cat out of the tree. Party wants to relax at a busy inn? He's serving everybody drinks because he heard the owner complain about them being short-staffed and wishing they had more help. Clearing out a goblin camp? Well, now he and the barbarian are fighting because the last goblin alive shouted for someone to help him. It got even better, or worse, depending on how you look at it, when the big bad evil guy realized what was up with the bot. Most fun I ever had role-playing a character, and a fun source of problem-solving for both the party and the DM as they slowly learn to work around this cheerfully broken robot that could either turn on them or just wander off if someone said the wrong word. I have an idea for a character. A human fighter who would be named Thomas Ehrman Ader. He would just be a normal human fighter until someone hit his face hard enough to rip away skin from his eye, exposing a metal skull and a mechanical eye with a red pupil, and everyone would realize he's a warforged with human skin. In other words, T. Ehrman Ader. He'll be back. I hadn't the chance to play them yet, but I really want to play a wild magic sorcerer, maybe with a little bard multi-class because bards are always fun. Not sure how cool of a character concept this is, but here it is. Her father had been a powerful wizard scholar who was studying the different planes and was experimenting with the raw magic that can be found in some of them. At some point, one of the experiments goes horribly wrong, resulting in my character, only a child at the time, being exposed to the raw magic and the destruction of her home. The rest of her family having been killed, she is retrieved by a group of wizards who study the impact the raw magic had on her. Unable to control her powers, she is locked away in a remote location with one of the wizards as her only companion who continues to study her magic and promises to find a way to help her control it. One day, however, she discovers some of the notes that the wizard had left unattended. Upon reading them, she learns that rather than helping her control them, the wizard's experiments were deliberately making her magic more powerful, and by extension, more volatile. The wizard had been receiving money from the ruling faction to find a way to utilize her magic as a powerful weapon. From the wizard's notes, my character was able to devise an amulet with which she could gain enough control of her powers to be reasonably safe before running away. On the run, she disguises herself as a traveling bard, her goal being to find out what exactly her father's experiments were about and to hopefully find a way to fully control her magic. Half-elf sorcerer warlock. I still don't have a name. Born as an illegitimate child from a human and an elven royal, he was born with a birthmark of the royal crest, proving his lineage. He is the fourth child of the family, though, due to status, he cannot ascend to the throne. One day, there was an incident that put him in danger. Dun dun dun! His father, the noble, gave his life to save his son. Because of this, his older siblings hated him. He just wants to prove to himself and his siblings that he is not useless. Another thing was that everyone in the family had been sorcerers for many generations, but he could not use magic at all. But he was able to see this fey creature that no one else seemed to see. He made a pact in order to get the ability to use magic. After a while, his body acclimated to using magic, unlocking his sorcerer abilities. Eventually, he learns that the fey he made a pact with happens to be the patron of the royal family. A long time ago, an ancestor made a pact with this being and gained magic. Their heir also made a pact with the same being. This continued until the fey decided to bless the whole lineage with magic. This is a concept of a friend of mine, Elliot. Disclaimer, I don't remember all the details, it's been a few weeks, and I was in the middle of a hike. That's an odd time to discuss characters. He is a wizard that believes the entire world is one giant equation. He is adventuring to find the pieces of the equation of life. His familiar is a snail, and he believes that its shell has a code that, when solved, gives him the last piece of the puzzle. I feel horrible because it sounded like he really worked hard on it, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing a few details. His DM said he couldn't play it because it was too complicated. I hate DMs like that, and yeah, I do too. If you have a really interesting character idea and can make it work, make it work. And if someone says, well, it's too complicated, well, sit down with the DM and say, okay, how can we make this a little less complicated while still retaining the power of this character? I've got a Dhampir Hexblade Warlock Swashbuckler Rogue built that I plan on playing in my friend's next campaign. Essentially, rather than thirsting for blood like a normal Dhampir, I thirst for mana and made a deal with a patron to satiate my hunger. After my patron was killed, I began hunting down other followers and draining them in order to not hunt innocent people. The MT Crew. A group of 3 warforged brothers consisting of Tech, an artificer battlesmith with 2 light hammers integrated into his arms with his trusty robo-German shepherd named Support. Error Code, a wild magic barbarian who lost control of his Magitech core after a bloody battle between him and some rats, though to be fair, they were of unusual size. And finally, 404, a wild magic sorcerer that was built with 2 Magitech cores as an experiment, and just so happened, both were defective in clashing ways, causing a potential for magical backlashes whenever he casts a spell or a cantrip. I have one that I'll hopefully play in a one-shot soon, hey, fingers crossed. She's a Kenku Way of Mercy monk, and her name is Iko. She wears a plague doctor mask. To her, it's just a mask because of the beak. And her monk weapon is a cane that she uses as a staff since she's short. Iko was abandoned by her family at a very young age and rescued by an NPC. She was raised by an order of monks called Order of the Nightshade. That relieved the unfortunate soul from sickness and delivered a quick death to the ones with no salvation. At the monastery, Iko learned how to write, apply medicine, treat wounds, and fight by copying the monks. However, the monks took a vow of silence at all times while inside the monastery. Because of this, the only words that Iko knows are the ones that she learned from the sick patients, and some merchants that sold their wares to the monks. I think it will be fun when we're doing something simple like going shopping, and she asks the shopkeeper for information or any help, like a person screaming for their lives, "Help me!" Also, she keeps a small book of words in the intention of expanding her vocabulary. I'm really curious to see how this goes. I've already played an Aarakocra, but it's the first time I'm playing a kenku. Listen, if this gets approved by your DM, we need to talk to that one guy way up above called Elliot, who had a wizard who literally had his DM say it was too complicated, because this one and that one sound about the same. So your DM needs to get in touch with Elliot really, really bad. The coolest character concept that I have that I'm actually working on right now is sort of a mix of a bunch of different characters from other media. So he's a mix between Celestial and Fiend and has the Fallen upbringing. He'll be a paladin gunslinger with the Oath of the Vengeful Raven, a homebrew paladin oath that I'm also working on. And the thing that I think makes this the coolest, or at least the most interesting, is that he has a set of bullets for his hand cannon that has the names of those he seeks vengeance against engraved on the bullet sets, as well as their weaknesses imbued onto the bullets. For example, one is a devil. As such, it would be a set of bullets with their name and radiant damage on each of the 6 bullets in the set. I kinda like that idea. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA back at it again, checking in after the vid. Make sure to take a sippy of your water, tea, coffee, or other drink of choice, and leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell. That way you get notified whenever we post or go live. Want to catch us actually live? Do so on our Twitch, though we don't really use it all that often, if at all anymore, but it's still there, so go follow us over there too if you'd like. And of course, check us out on TikTok for 30 to 60 second videos where we just kind of have a lot of fun. Also, if you want to come submit a story to us, you can do so in the comments, but please do so on our subreddit r/MrRipper, as that's where we look first and foremost. Also, if you want to come check out me, Brian Von VA, your local favorite narrator from Ohio, you can do so on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, name it, I'm there. I stream a lot on Twitch. Come say hi. I also try to end things on at least a positive, if not a happy note, and today is no different. I just want to ask everybody, how you doing? It's been a long year so far, and there's been a lot of good points to it, of course, and a lot of bad, but honestly, I just want to know how everybody's doing. I'm doing pretty okay. As of this recording, I have a nice bottle of ice water next to me. I'm taking a fat sip on it every so often, and I'm getting there with life. It's taking time, and things are adjusting and tweaking themselves little by little, but I'm going places slowly, simply. I'm gaining more confidence, I'm getting stronger, faster, happier by the day, and I just want to know how everyone else is doing. So leave me a comment saying, hey, Bri, this is what I've been doing lately, or hey, Bri, this is what's been going on lately. I definitely care, I definitely want to know, so leave me a comment, okay? I love you all, please be safe, be happy, and I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.